All right, hey everyone, welcome to another episode of O365A. In today's episode, we're going to be speaking with Graham Walsh from Pexip to go over the Pexip video interop capabilities with Microsoft Teams. So, Graham, why don't you tell us about your product?
Okay, sure. So, quick intro of myself, really, I think. So, yeah, as you say, Graham from Pexip. Been with the company 3 years now, just gone 3 years, and thank you for having me on the show. So I thought, what I'd do is sort of try and blend in with you guys. So,
Oh, yeah.
Love
I'll
it.
just blend in and be Canadian too for the day.
Yeah.
So yeah, our product is, as you say, cloud video interop for Microsoft Teams, but also Skype for Business. So there is still a mass market of Skype for Business out there. So we're certified for that too. And we're also tested against Skype for Business 2019. So we were in the TAP program for there to make sure that that works. And luckily, nothing has changed in 2019. So it will work with 2019, 2015, Skype Online and Teams, and also Link 2013. So the whole life cycle of every single customer you can find, but unfortunately no OCS. And Link 2010, the client works because we have the RTV codec in the product, so the client will work, but not with the server.
Awesome. So, I mean, I guess one of my questions is, what is the business focus for Pexip, right?
So our focus is looking at the large enterprises, really, such as banks, insurance companies, big healthcare organizations, or just large enterprises who want to have control of their video architecture. So if there's many, a lot of these enterprises have hundreds, if not thousands of video devices, PTCs, and they want to control that video. So rather than put it all out to the cloud, with Pexip, they can choose to put that within their network. So on Hyper-V, VMware, etc., or in a private cloud, such as Azure, AWS, and Google. So they can control and know where that bandwidth for all this video traffic is going. So enterprises that we have as customers are people like Hewlett-Packard Enterprise, Vodafone, Accenture, the Department of VA, some banks we can't name, but all large enterprises that have lots of video, whether it's in the meeting room or just on the desktop, but they want to control that environment and not saturate their internet bandwidth, which is good for ISPs, but not every organization have great internet breakouts in all locations.
No, definitely.
Yeah, that sounds good. Graham, maybe just talk about a little bit about what types of endpoints these enterprises are deploying, like the specific models and the configurations, that type of thing.
So there's a lot of Cisberg out there. So a combination of Cisco and Tandberg endpoints. Tandberg was acquired by Cisco in 2010. But we see people out there with devices that are 20 years old, and they're still they work. They don't break. Okay, they don't have a support contract, but they still use them. Users know how to use a remote control, etc., or it's integrated with some touch panels in the room, so they don't want to replace things. So we see mostly Cisco, Tandberg, and Polycom, should we say, in North America and in Europe. Over in South Africa and Asia and APAC, we see a lot of Yealink and Huawei as well. So there is a mix of everything. And if you turn the camera around and see my desk, I've got a Cisco, I've got a Polycom, I've got a Yealink, I've got a Trio, I've got a Videophone, an old Tandberg. So I've got everything here to sort of encompass a real world environment that a customer will say, hey, we're trying to do a desktop share from Skype to this 20-year-old Tandberg. And 9 times out of 10, it will work because it's standards-based protocols. So RDP or video-based screen sharing coming from Skype, going to that old legacy endpoint, that the protocol hasn't changed in 20 years. So it's the same protocol. We just got to make sure we mix it right in the product. So yeah, they're the sort of main devices. You do find some weird Chinese makes sometimes, but not that often. But again, if they are, they all follow the same standards of the ITU of SIP and H323. So, but yeah, mainly the large enterprises have Cisco Polycom devices.
Cool. So maybe just talk a little bit about how you think your product differentiates in the market?
So again, we're slightly different to the other players in the market who, again, a lot of people have gone to a as a service model. That's what Office 365 is, Teams, it's all in the cloud. You don't really have anything on premises anymore. But with Pexip, we obviously have, you can deploy the software within your network. So put it inside your firewall, control it all, and that's where we're different. A lot of the focus from other vendors or competitors, should we say, used to do on premises, but have moved to the cloud. Then you have new people in the market, such as Zoom, BlueJeans, etc., and WebEx Teams. That they are all in the cloud based, and some of them are starting to develop hybrid services because again, enterprises are saying we can't put it all in the cloud. We've got to have some of this on premise. So again, the ability of Pexip is you choose where you deploy it, and that's how we're different. Is because you have the software. It's a subscription, so again, you're not tied into it for life. It's an annual subscription, so again, users can be flexible with the license.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Good. Yeah, so Graham, one of the reasons I like to talk to vendors like yourself is you're out there in real world scenarios all the time. I was just wondering what scenarios, what combination of devices, room video systems and platforms and clients that you see people benefit the most from Pexip's solution.
Yeah, so a lot of the things we see are customers are trying to simplify their architecture of video. Video has been built up over years, so they buy one or two systems, then they buy some infrastructure, and then all of a sudden they have 7 servers to manage and 300 video endpoints. And where Pexip fits nicely is because it was developed from the ground up in 2012. It wasn't an amalgamation of different acquisitions of products into one. It was started with a fresh sheet of paper, so we designed it to be a single platform that does everything. So the audio mixing, the video mixing, the content sharing, the device registrations. So it's all in the same product, shall we say. So you don't need different virtual machines to do different roles. It's basically 2 virtual machines that can do the whole product. And now we have Microsoft Teams. There's a new role because that's a whole new ballgame as we move to Microsoft Teams. But really for those customers, we're able to simplify the platform for them. And again, like for example, Vodafone, they have 3 people managing the architecture of the platform and a handful who are managing it on a day-to-day basis. So really for a massive global organization, it's very little to do, should we say. It's not a product you always have to feed and water. It's just there, it just works.
Cool.
Yeah, so I've been through the Teams direct routing certification process that was done by a third party with TechVision. Pexip was certified in October 2018. What was the certification process like for cloud video interop with Teams, and was it done by a third party or Microsoft?
So it was done by Microsoft themselves. So maybe a little bit of history of how we got certified. I'll share with you. So we had Skype for Business and Link Interop, and we spoke to Microsoft at Ignite in 2016. And we had customers saying, hey guys, can you certify this product? It works too. So they then sent a delegation over to Oslo in December. We hosted them and showed them how we develop, how the product works, inside out, should we say. And then we started the TAP program the following May time. And that for Skype for Business to make sure everything works. Again, in our labs, we went to Redmond, put the certification into their labs. And then we actually got GA on the 1st of August, 2017. But actually go back 2 months, they actually asked us in June, well, could you do Teams Interop? And we said, well, okay, of course we would. But they said a little caveat. It needs to be on Windows and it needs to be in Azure. That was a little bit tricky for us as our whole product is Linux based. So we had to learn a lot of C# and migrate 65 million lines of code over to Windows. So again, we built all that and did all that. And then, as you say, we went to Microsoft, put it in their labs to test with. And then fast forward to May this year, when we started the TAP program again. Again, that was all done directly with Microsoft. And we went first demos back actually in Enterprise Connect earlier this year. And then again at Inspire, and then at Microsoft Ignite, when we launched that, we will GA. It was the 19th of October, I think. Yeah, when we went GA with the product. So it's been out there nearly 2 months now. So we've got many customers who have, purchased the license, should we say, to enable it for their tenants with Pexip. And we're doing lots of proof of concepts and trials with customers now on it.
Perfect. So if you're looking at like what are the components or services required, say if you had a Cisco telepresence room and you wanted to be able to join either a Skype for Business online meeting or a Teams meeting, having that voice, video, and content?
So the components mainly are what we call our management server. That is the virtual machine. It's only a small virtual machine that controls everything and where you do all the configuration. And then you have what we call a conference node, and this what does the audio, video, content mixing, RDP, video-based screen sharing, and then obviously the Cisco Polycom protocols, etc. So that's the main platform. And then as part of the Teams, and that works for Skype. So Skype is in the box native. For Teams, we then have that connector in Azure, which is a Windows-based Azure. And think of it of a Windows box. It's a 2016 data center, hardened, locked down, secure. So it's an appliance, really. You don't touch it. We will run all the updates for it as part of our product. And it's got the Microsoft Teams bot, should we say, the SDK that Microsoft have given to the 3 CVI partners. No one else has access to that apart from us 3. And then it's got the Pexip code on there as well. And all it's doing is proxying the media into the Teams meeting. So it's a minimum of, say, 3 virtual machines to have it up and running. And then you can obviously do things like register your devices to it.
And how is your product tackling the calendar or the meeting join with One Touch or whatever like that?
So what we find with some users is they are happy with users walk in and type the 9-digit ID, and then some users, as you say, want this click to join experience. So that is possible with a third-party tool to have that click to join on any device, whether it's a Cisco, a Polycom room system, a Polycom Trio, and or even if it's not one of these 2 vendors, it can automatically dial out to the product as well. So if it is a Yealink or a Huawei, at the 10 a.m. meeting, it could then automatically dial that system into the Teams meeting.
Hey, Graham, I'm starting to gain an appreciation of the amount of interop your solution does. I have a lot of background with interop, all sorts of different systems. It can be a messy endeavor at times. Is there any particular scenarios you're seeing out there that are extra challenging for your solution, that it's just a difficult scenario to mix and match?
One of the most challenging things of any deployment is firewalls with customers, where they place firewalls everywhere. And you guys probably know this, doing voice stuff as well. It can be a pain. But we can get around them, so it's not really that much. And again, the other things are, as people want to move to cloud compute, rather than trying to have some things on premise and some on cloud, you just do it all in Azure. Put it all in the public cloud, and obviously it's private, it's within your environment, and you can have things like Express route to it to make it fully private and push all your traffic through that connection. But that's one of the main challenges is enterprise network, should we say. And when you speak to customers and say, of course we've got quads on everything, and then you look at the traffic, it's like you haven't marked it properly. Oh, okay, yeah. Or it's in the wrong VLAN. So a lot of it is down to configuration or these things. Fat fingers when you type in some things or you're making your certificate. These are some of the common challenges we see. But the other problem with a lot of the end users is they have a lot of applications. There was a study, one vendor we work with, and they did an analysis, and the average application someone uses today is 33 applications. Word, Excel, Teams, Skype, you're going to be using a whole amount of applications a day. So for us working with Teams and Skype, for example, is to keep it all simple and all native. So users don't have to have another app. It's native interop. And it helps that transition. If they are going from Skype to Teams, they use the same Pexip platform. It's not a different version, a different box. It's the same product that's doing both interops. So it eases that migration story, should we say.
Yeah. Habib, do you have any follow-on questions or?
No, I think Graham nailed all the questions that we have. And thanks again for coming on. I really appreciate it. You contributing to this session, and thanks everybody for listening in. And hopefully we'll catch you on the next episode.
Awesome. Thanks, Graham.
Thanks, Graham.
Thanks all. Pleasure.